like everything is expected. It's like the same Broadway.
My name is Paul James. I'm host of the English News every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, ladies and gentlemen. My dear fellow Americans, welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow on the East-West Show with my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, political commentator, most importantly, very brave individual, good friend to the community who followed me during the pandemic throughout. With lots of guts that I have to recognize. And I think that ever after the pandemic, he and I will go for a big drink.
I'm ready. I'm thirsty.
Right? A big one.
Yes.
We want to get drunk with.
Well, I'll have a six-pack.
All right. Very good. All right, today we have lots of on the list. But first of all, I would like to say a few words on the just past Memorial Day.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want you to speak first, shall we?
Well, Jack, Memorial Day, many Americans right now, we're not teaching patriotism in the schools, and we're not teaching a lot about Memorial Day. Memorial Day, the purpose of which is to honor those that have given their life, given the ultimate for our freedoms, to protect America as a country, so we're not invaded and we're subservient to other ideologies. And in the time since 1776, we've had approximately 1,200,000 patriots killed, die, some by accidents, not all by bullets or something, but for our safety. And that goes to the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War, and World War I, World War II, Vietnam, in the Middle East activities, and some other skirmishes, okay? And one thing that stands out, Jack, out of these 1,200,000 approximately, there's still a lot of bodies aren't found, okay? 620,000 minimum were from the Civil War. It might have been 700,000 or 800,000. And that was brother fighting against brother, the North against the South. And it was such an ugly way to fight because they walk right toward each other and shoot each other.
That's the tragedy
and if you're wounded, there's no doctors and you bleed to death. And I've been to the main battlefields back there, Vicksburg and Gettysburg, and I've seen right there 17,500 graves. Jack, it just brings you to your knees. These are young people too. I don't know what the average age of our patriots is, but I mean, it's under 25. And in Civil War and World War II and all that, it's like 20. I mean, your officers are older, and so it's all to thank them. Now this year, because of our pandemic situation, we didn't have the parades that we usually have. We didn't have gatherings of family members. Some people couldn't go to Arlington. Like Arlington Cemetery is our national cemetery for our warriors. And Jack, at Arlington, 400,000 graves. That's a lot. 400,000.
The one in San Diego.
And there's the National Cemetery, or the cemetery here in the west side of Los Angeles. They had a really beautiful a program on Channel 7 on Memorial Day, Monday. I watched it all. It was very, very sweet, very nice. And Trump laid the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Yes.
And also then he went to Fort Sumter, where the first shots in the Civil War were fired. And he really gave a very moving, sweet speech.
And I believe
he's a patriot.
I believe this year's Memorial Day has another meaning, which is so special that Donald Trump had ordered this 3 days of half masks.
Yes.
Right. And also he added all the almost 100,000 lives died during the pandemic.
We might get to 100,000 during this show.
And New York Times made it even clear that they published the whole section, full page of names who died in the pandemic. Of course, not all.
They had 1,000 names on
not
there.
Not all, 1,000 names.
Yeah.
Names, age.
That was good.
Age and profession.
Yeah.
Right. And I believe that
was
the
good.
purpose for New York Times is not to call people to memorize who they are, what they did.
No,
Right.
no.
It is a call, a wake-up call for people. Say, these are the ones, brothers, sisters, who died during peacetime.
That's right.
In a war manner.
Right. That's right.
Peacetime in a war manner.
And
Right.
dedicated to the nurses and doctors and all
Yes.
the healthcare people that are taking care of these people.
And also, if we quote from Donald Trump, he said this is worse than Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
This is
98,000 dead.
Worse than September
9/11. Yep,
Right.
it is.
Yeah. So Americans is taking a heavy blow now.
A heavy blow. In hallelujah, we are starting to reopen. And what's happened, Jack? They feared it so much as such a deadly virus. Well, it's not such a deadly virus. There's 2 or 3 out of 1,000 that will die. As we keep finding more people are asymptomatic, pardon me, we're all symmetric. So that have it or had it and they recovered from it. So that's the denominator. We have a good body count, but
Look at it in a more optimistic way that we do have lots of problems, a lot of viruses, right? And
We do.
each year we have folks who die away from even normal flu.
the flu,
Yeah,
20 to
normal
60,000 a
flu.
year
The
die
flu-
from that.
The flu virus takes
Right.
about 50, 60,000
Right.
each year anyway.
And in that, many more are young
Only
kids.
this year it is made even worse. An extra
Yeah.
of 100,000
Yeah.
died of a normal case.
Well, between October and February, 40,000 died of the regular flu. Now you add another 100,000. There's 140,000 Americans that passed away since October.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Now, people die like crazy every day. Okay, there are so many ways to go to heaven.
So to those who unfortunately passed away
Yeah.
during the pandemic, we wish you rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And to those who lost their loved ones during the pandemic, we share our thoughts with you. Our thoughts are with you. With condolences, life goes on.
Life must go on.
And life
Thanks
does
for
not
saying
only
that.
go on, life goes on in a better way. And news just came that today we scheduled a launch, all right? And we're going to send a manned space shuttle,
Americans.
Americans, to the International Station.
Well, yeah, they're scheduled. They're not sure how long this is going to be, but it's Americans, and it's a combination of government.
It's probably between 1 to 3 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time.
Well, yeah, about 4:04, I think, something like that.
4:04, did you say?
Yeah.
Did you say 4:04?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't get that piece of news.
Yeah.
I previously checked, it was before 1 to 3.
Okay. Now, one thing, Jack, there's about a 50% chance that it could be canceled because of weather. So when they had lightning and stuff in Florida down there early this morning. So we both hope that we get off of there. Trump and Vice President Pence, they're going there. Like everybody that could go there's going
Like
there.
a while ago when I was sorting international news out,
Yes, sir.
I came across one piece from Associated Press
Yes.
talking exactly about the Russian attitude, including words from Vladimir Putin, and also word from the headman of the Cosmos Space Center.
Okay.
Right? They both confirm that they say us, meaning Russia, has fallen behind the United States. And like the headman of the Cosmos Space Center, Russian Space Center, says that the only thing we do better than the United States is that we send a man to Space Center,
To the space.
to the Space Center,
the
by
ship-
by using
Yeah.
the Russian rocket,
Yeah, we have.
right? No, I mean they say,
Right.
quote unquote, we.
Some of our people have gone up in the Russian
Yeah, I
rocket
know,
to
no.
the space station.
We Russians
Okay.
The only thing we do better,
Okay.
the only thing we Russians do better is to send the man to the
Yeah.
International Space Center.
Yeah.
Now they are doing it without us.
Well, and that's okay because right now, like for a couple decades, we did nothing with our space program. You know, in 1969, we walked the moon, and we haven't done anything because
No,
it wasn't a
starting-
priority.
starting in
it's
2000
a priority now with Trump.
Starting in 2011, we started to use Russia, use their Soyuz,
Okay.
use their Soyuz
Yeah.
shuttle
Yeah.
to do the
shuttle.
launching.
Yeah, you're good.
Not this year.
Yeah.
Starting now, we're no longer using them. All right? And in the analysis, they say, and Putin says, why are we behind? We need to catch up. Now, the answer is, the headman of the Cosmo Center gave to Putin was that the price of launching on our space center is 1.5 to 4 times bigger than the United States.
Okay.
All right? And this whole thing got echoed by the headman of Space Center, Musk,
Yeah.
saying that the reason they're cheap, they're inexpensive,
Yeah.
is their 80% of their rockets are reusable.
And they come back down and they land softly.
All right, let's take a moment out.
Oh.
We come back to continue.
Everything expected. Right. It's like the scenes on
My
Wayne.
name is Paul James. I'm host of the English News.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West with my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a dear brother and a friend to the community, a fighter for justice. And above all, he is brave enough, he has enough guts to stay all the way throughout the pandemic with me. I believe history will remember us. Remember the two ugly faces.
Yep,
Okay.
that's
no,
right.
We're
That's
handsome.
my Chinese name.
We're handsome, aren't we? History will remember us that once upon a time there are these two men who fought bravely against the pandemic.
Yes.
All right.
It is
So-
my honor to be with your viewers, Jack, and you. This is where I belong on planet Earth.
I said with the leading subject of Memorial Day
Yeah.
commemoration, we confirm that life goes on.
Yes.
And life even goes on in a better way. Right?
It is.
And another better way is to look at the stock exchange.
Oh, yeah, hallelujah.
Yeah, what numbers do you have?
Well,
today?
here's what's happened. You know, we go back to the end of last year. We hit a high of 27,900 on the Dow. Okay, 970. So we were close. Okay, close to the 29,000 to the 30,000 level. Then the pandemic hit. You know, the Wuhan deal, and we go all the way back to 18,000.
About 10, yes.
Yeah, all the way to 18, which is where it was when Obama went out of office. And now we're crawling our way back up. We're at 25,000 now, and the economy's horrible right now. We got 30 million people that I pray for every night. They're not working. You know, they're getting like welfare payments from the government, things like that, which is not that doesn't satisfy your self-image very much. You need a job to feel beautiful about yourself, and it's all because there's great progress being made on the therapeutics, which is how you would treat the virus, and also a vaccine which could prevent the virus. And this is unbelievable. This is called Operation Warp Speed.
Remember about 2 weeks ago, you and I, when we were talking about the stock exchange indicators, we mentioned one thing, the resilience of our economy.
In the attitude of the people.
Yeah, the
resilience is
word
strong.
resilience and attitude of the people. I'll give you an example. I may have a euphemism for you.
Yes, sir.
Right? I have a big fish tank in the house.
Oh, they're beautiful.
a very beautiful
love
aquarium,
them.
280 gallons.
That's huge.
Right. Every time changing water,
That's huge.
I kind of use a whole hose
Yeah.
to
Well, yeah, that's
put
huge.
water in. So
That's
while
huge.
while water is being put into the tank, though, you don't see the increase.
Okay.
What you see the surface, the water surface,
Yeah. Kind of.
kind of up and
Resonate
down,
up
up
and
and down, up and down, up and down,
Yeah.
kind of blinking,
Yeah.
like flourishing.
Yes, sir.
All the time, though. And then you take your eyes away, go somewhere else, and then come back, you see an increase about this much.
Yeah.
So
It's an
this
optical illusion.
Yes, I use this. I use it to confirm one thing.
Yes, sir.
Number one, there's water going in.
Yes, sir. That's true.
All right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It is going in.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Number two, the human being who are watching the level of water,
Yes, sir.
only wishing it to go faster.
Okay.
It has its own pace anyway.
Nature has its own rhythm.
Does that
Nature
explain?
has its rhythm.
Does that explain the whole thing?
It does. Yeah.
So that's how I feel about
That's
it.
a beautiful big tank.
Yeah,
I'd like
yeah.
to see pictures of that sometime. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's lovely. Yeah, so there, it's optimism that's back in. Okay, now like when the second quarter, which we're in now, April, May, and June, we're going to have an unemployment rate of 20% or something that has never happened before. Maybe 25% in the depression.
Not only is this good to the economy, which of course, given a little bit of push, it will go
Yeah.
all the way out, right?
It will.
Something like that. But the fact is that if this does happen that way, Donald Trump would have gained his time.
He would, yes. And we're recovering faster than say his opponents want us to. And we'll talk about that later. But so the third quarter is going to be kind of transition back to prosperity. In the fourth quarter, and of course the election's November 3rd, and that's in the middle of the fourth quarter, we're going to have an economy on fire again, people going back to work. You know, we don't have to live the rest of our life wearing a mask and all that stupid stuff, because the whole thing is now we're like 2 out of 3 out of 1,000 people that have this virus die, and there's millions that have it and just are fine.
The element, I'm still confident. I would say one of the very few optimistic person.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That I really believe that the economy will grow up faster. I'll give you an example. If you take a kettle of water, have it boiled,
Right.
and let it cool down
Yeah.
for a certain time
Sir.
until it reaches the room temperature.
Yes.
Right? And then you take another one, pull out fill in with the new water,
Okay.
and put both on the stove.
Yeah.
Who boils first?
Well, you won't know, will you?
No, the one who had been boiled
Right. That was boiled
takes
first.
shorter time,
Right.
even though the starting point
Yeah.
is
Oh, you
the
mean
same.
to boil again?
Yeah,
Oh,
to
okay.
boil
Yeah, sure.
again.
The one that was
The starting
pre-warmed.
point. The starting point is still at the same room temperature,
Right,
though.
right.
The kettle bottle
Right.
that was boiled again,
Yeah. That makes
already
sense.
boiled,
Yeah.
would boil
little
faster, much faster than this brand new one.
I am going to try that at home.
Yeah,
I am.
try it out.
I will, because I find it interesting.
It will explain. It will
Yeah.
explain. All right, we
And our
give
temp-
that.
so
We give our economy. We give the Dow Jones a fingers crossed. How about that?
right, fingers crossed, in hope,
All right.
in belief.
What else do you have on the list?
Well, there's some, let's see, how can we talk about positive things? Unfortunately, there's still on the Memorial Day weekend, okay, we didn't have the celebrations we normally have, and we don't really have the appreciation that we used to have. So what I talk about is we just need to get patriotism and American history back into our school system. And you ask people, there's people on TV that go ask random people, what's Memorial Day about? I don't know, okay? Who won World War II? I don't know. See, I know growing up as I did, every year I've got a history class, and some were pretty boring, but they were all informative, okay? So I'm a history buff, and what's happening, American history is not appreciated and taught in our school system now, all the way from first grade all the way up. And we've probably got 90% of teachers and certainly 90% of college professors that kind of don't like America and don't share the feeling of patriotism for our country.
I believe
so
at
we have
school-
brainwashed people. So then when they get out of college, they find out there's no free lunch.
It is
and
true.
if you want to succeed,
Yeah,
you
it
got to
is-
work.
It is true, it is false.
Okay.
The true part meaning that in school, especially high school,
Yes, sir.
in the junior years,
Yes, sir.
right, everybody is taught with American history,
Well,
right? That's the true part. And the false part is that even if they are taught, though, they soon forget everything.
well, that's true.
They
but
don't remember
also,
a thing.
What they're taught now in that time in American history isn't the same as when I was taught, because they put history in a negative, American history in more of a negative view than when I was taught. It was a glorious view for the freedoms offered in America. So they rewrite history. Okay, that's kind of what some, like Japan has rewritten history in their books about their situation in World War II. They deny kind of everything.
One thing for sure, there's a big history. One of the big piece, I would say, the biggest piece is the December the 7th of 1941. That I don't want anybody to
forget.
To forget.
No, in fact, when I sit at home by myself under this house arrest, I go, okay, what can I do? So I came up with a new license plate, NVR FRGT, never forget. Because that's the whole thing, never forget. When we forget history, it repeats itself. And a lot of history of all countries and all planet Earth has had a lot of negative activities in it, because there's people on the planet, and there's a lot of people that have evil and greed in their mind.
With all this, we form a bunch of folks who are so patriotic that they are willing to die for the country.
They are.
Right, good. Anyway, that moves us to education, though. I've heard this morning that the style of education is subject to a game changer.
Well, here's something huge.
They're talking about game changer.
Yes.
They're talking about using the online education
Disaster.
instead of a campus.
It's a disaster.
I mean campus, instead of campus.
Yeah. Now this is huge. These colleges say, for example, a whole part about going to elementary school, high school, and college is interfacing with professors and fellow students.
All right. Okay, my friend, let's take a moment out. This really leads to a very, very important point of views that we would like to stretch. All right. So stay with us. We will be right back, please.
Center everything perspective. It's like seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I'm host of the English News every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West, which is a tradition for so many years. We, my team and I, try everything possible to put necessary information. But when I say necessary, I mean positively necessary.
Yes. I'm so proud of your show.
Yeah, we reject the negativity. We love positivity. So with the positive information, we have established our own credit, and we are still here now. Especially with the help, like my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, I have a bunch of those who are deadly supporters.
Yes.
They are so dead fast supporters to this show because they really love the philosophy held on here. Right?
Yes.
Now, today in one of the pandemic update, we touched base with you with several issues. One issue that I thought more important, very important
Yes.
to talk to is that there's a word talking about changing a lifestyle
Right.
after the pandemic,
Right.
which I agree when you're talking about social distancing, when you're talking about wearing face masks for a certain period of time, I have no problem. However, when you talk about changing schools,
Yes. Thank you.
using the online education instead of to replace campus,
It's a tragedy.
right? Would it work? How would it work? Right. I want you express your take, please.
Yeah, now I just had a new thought I haven't had before right there when you said that, and that is, you know, you learn faster when you have eyeball contact with your professors, okay? And also your fellow students that you can talk to about things you don't understand, and some of them do. That's how you all raise your level. But the thing with online deal, you know, not everybody has the same level of intelligence. And I think if we go to this online, which I'm totally opposed to, and paying big tuition to look at a computer screen and listen to whatever, it's just uncivilized. It's not good.
You're
But
right.
the brighter people then will learn more than the less gifted, and nobody's, you know, gifted the same. They're not going to learn as fast. So it's going to make a bigger inequality between the talents of people that are bright and can learn more from that and have the ability to concentrate for a longer period of time, which I don't really have the ability to concentrate for a long period of time. I can concentrate and go back and concentrate again, but some people are just really good at that. And then other people, it's just not natural to learn on a computer. It's not natural. It's kind of like, Jack, I've bought so many things over my life and they come with instructions, and you read the instructions about how to assemble something. Whoever wrote the instructions never assembled it. They don't make sense. And I've had tons of people agree with me on that, okay? Or I agree with them. The instructions of so many things are hard to follow. And so it's the same with this. Not everybody, you know, we talk about herd immunity. There's also herd learning. So when you have people of different potentials intellectually and concentration-wise together, it kind of raises the level for everybody.
That's exactly.
And by alone,
That's
it's a
exactly
disaster.
right. I believe that you hit the nail on the head, right?
Thank you.
Even if, suppose,
Yes, sir.
right, the visual whatever school,
Yes, sir.
right, the screen schools, the online schools would teach you academically the same thing.
But you won't
But
learn the same.
yeah. Will you master it?
You won't retain the same at all.
All right.
It just
My
won't happen.
second question, which is even bigger, what are you learning in school?
Well, that's a good question.
In other words, I say, what else are you learning in school?
Oh, you're learning to interface with other human beings.
All right.
Communication.
All right.
You can't communicate.
You learn to be one member
Yes.
of a class,
Yes, thank you. That's perfect. That's right.
one member of a group,
Yeah.
one member of a cattle,
Absolutely, which is fine. They take care of each other.
one member of a hurdle.
Yeah, you're right, exactly.
You're only one member. You interact with people,
Yeah. And Jack, there's one other.
boys, girls,
Absolutely.
old and young.
Old and young. Yeah, right. Athletic, not athletic.
Yeah, you
Smart, not
you
smart.
learn to behave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are the things you learn.
And there's one other impact that is unbelievable on our economy from this kind of approach, and that is women that are, or men that are stay at home right now because they lost their job. many people have the parents working, so the kids, you can't leave them home alone. And if the women and the men that want to go back to work, often both a husband and wife, or a single mother that goes to work and then drops the kids off, picks them up afterwards, it won't work. So the people that, because we don't have the luxury of somebody definitely staying home and guiding the kid and watching them and making sure they're learning. So it can't work. It's breaks on the economy to try to do that.
Plus, kids respond different ways when they are watched by parents.
Yeah.
Or without the parents watching them.
Totally different. Totally, yeah.
They act differently.
And also they react differently with the teacher, who hopefully, supposedly they respect, and then, you kind of, like, sometimes you don't always obey your mom or dad perfectly, they're just kids. And so in school, there's discipline that you learn in school better than at home.
I mentioned my son goes to Cal Poly the other day, right?
And he's a smart
And
puppy.
he says in the school,
Yeah.
and there's a big protest or protests.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Against the authorities, talking about this cannot go on.
And it can't.
Right.
It can't.
And then it was misled. It was misled to a negotiation of how much refunds we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're paying.
I told my son, I said, no. It's not a refund. On top of the refund, even if you get your 100% refund, though, you still deserve to get the education when you are put in an environment with your
focus on education. Yeah, exactly.
with your friends.
Yeah, right.
In the classroom.
Yeah.
On the playground.
Yeah.
In the library.
It's critical.
All right.
It's critical.
In the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That's a society.
Each of that is a part of education.
And remember, what I've talked about before on your show is people coming out of high school now, some of them, they should just take a year off. Forget your tuition, go out, work, make some money, save some money, and then you'll have more money to help your parents pay for your tuition or whatever. And not all parents can pay for it, Jack. That's, not everybody's got the blessing of parents that can afford to do that. And so take your time off, or even, go in the Army for a couple of years. Then you get out, you got GI benefits, which is fantastic.
I'll give you a case.
Yes, sir.
All right. In one of the biggest universities in China, I hate to mention the name.
Yeah, right.
There was one girl who was the top of the, I would say, the whole department.
Yeah.
The whole department.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. So outstanding.
Yeah. I love her.
And she was poisoned by the other girl who is next to her.
Jeez. Holy cow.
Poisoned. And as a result, this girl who is being poisoned is a vegetable person now.
Well, you left me speechless. You've left me speechless.
Like this kind.
See,
right?
I knew a lot of people that are smarter than me, and I admire them.
They need to learn to be with people.
You hurt me. Yeah. Sure.
To be with people.
Yeah.
Right? So this person, the bad girl who poisoned her, got away from it.
Ooh, I hope she was punished.
Got away from it.
Yeah.
Right? But this person should learn that why she didn't learn that part to cope along with people.
See, that's jealousy and greed. Jealousy is a very wasted emotion.
I'm very worried about the fact if they're talking about quote unquote game changer of the school style. I'm very, very, very worried about.
Well, and then for example, like my son works for Merrill Lynch.
What if I take if I invite some of my school friends of ask my son if he will get some here.
Yeah.
You want to be here to discuss with them?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? Because who's the best feedback from? It's from students, how they view their own life.
Them, right?
And let me tell you, the depression in kids right now is huge. There are many mental and emotional challenges that these kids stuck at home, in particular, like say my daughter's got 3 kids at home, so they can kind of interface all day. They have each other to kind of play with. But when you're the only kid and you're stuck at home, you've got nothing. You've got nothing. You've just got your mom. Your mom's going to roll around.
All right,
day
we'll
with you.
leave that until next time.
Oh,
though.
that's serious.
We're looking around for. We'll look for some kids to sit here to share with us about their views.
That's
all right?
huge.
Okay, what's next on your list?
Well, let's see. Where are we? Let me just take a peek. Well, some of the, well, you know, there's some.
How about the absentee votes?
Okay, that's huge. Okay.
The absentee votes. What's your take?
Well, here's something huge that's just happened. To me, this mail by ballot, you know, an absentee vote, if you're out of the state, you can get one and mail it in. That's fine. But otherwise, what it does is you lose control.
Let's take a moment out.
Right.
It looks
And
like
then we'll hit that.
we need a whole piece.
Yeah, we do.
We need a whole piece to talk about. So, my dear friends, stay with us. We will be right back, please.
Everything is expected to work on it now.
My name is Paul James. I host the news
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East with my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming. Mr. Ken Hemming is a book writer. His book, Life is Simple, 100 Words to Live By, is a really, really a good book. I, without exaggeration, say that it's almost my Bible, my
Thank you,
second
Jack.
Bible, because while consulting the pages, you learn healthy philosophy,
It is my soul.
healthy attitude. Thank you for
It is my soul.
for your settled brain. Thank you for having that settled brain with your readers, right?
It is my soul.
All right. Not only by writing books, by joining me on the show, though, he shares lots of his opinions, philosophies. Okay. We're in the pandemic. We're talking about the pandemic up to date. One of the most up to date in the pandemic or during the pandemic is that we are facing a presidential election. Plus, this presidential election is going to be historical.
It will.
I can't say histories will be made at this 2020 presidential election because lots of things abnormal are happening,
It is.
right?
Like
And
never
now
before.
there's a saying during the pandemic, the absentee votes by mail will probably replace quite a big of a physical casting the vote. So to lots of audiences, they need the piece of education.
Yes.
What's the difference between the two?
Well, the difference is between honest counting of ballots and random rampant fraud, period. Now, the best way that it should be done are voting, and that is where you have to show your ID, you know, with your picture and everything to prove you are you. And then you can go in and cast your vote. Because all elections, you know, have had some fraudulent activities in it. But right now, this movement trying to get the ability to vote by mail is generated by the radical leftists that want to win the election at any cost.
No. Without giving the political analysis, just talk about the difference between the procedures to make understanding.
Well, the regular procedure is you show up and you sign in.
I know that.
Well,
yeah,
okay, well, that's the procedure, and then you go in a booth and then you vote. On the other, you get something in the mail, you know, and then you put your vote out and you mail it back. But the problem is they're so easily, like, there's $100 bills that are phony, okay, that we look at all the time. it'd be the same. They call it harvesting ballots. I mean, they make up ballots. There's been thousands of dead people that have put ballots in because people don't know they're dead. They send it out to an inactive person in either the Republican or Democratic Party, and then they, and there's been all kinds of cases of mailmen throwing ballots out from a Republican area and all that. So you will not have
In other words,
pure
the
activity.
mail voting by mail
Invites fraud.
would be
Easily fraudulently maneuvered
Fraudulent.
to an improper conclusion.
could be a dead person's name.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also
could
the same
be-
person could have several ballots in there.
Could be repeated vote,
Yes.
duplicated.
Right.
Say if I vote
From
twice.
one place to another. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. It's
right.
I mean, it's so pure. It should be a citizen.
What I
that
do
votes.
in my district.
Yeah.
I go on the voting day. There are tables
Yes, sir.
next to each other.
Right.
And there's a big
volunteers.
There's a big book about this
Right,
thick.
right.
They ask your name.
Right, and they look you up.
By the letters of the last name.
Yes, sir.
They flip it
Yeah.
to the page. My last name is a Z, right?
Yes, sir.
They did the Z, but
Yeah.
and then there's a whole line.
Yeah.
They ask me to see my ID.
Right, which I believe.
I show
in.
them the ID,
Right.
and then they ask me to turn it over
Yeah.
to sign the line.
Yeah. See, that's a
Then
way that
they assign me on a post.
exactly. You go
All right.
in and you do it.
Now, then in this way that they know is me, Jack Chow,
Yes.
voting my right.
Right. That
Right?
you are a citizen also.
Now, by letter though, what do? I'll get a blank form.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be a blank form. It would have a name and everything. It would be delivered to you, mailed to you. But what it's just.
So
it just
let's talk about the technique.
Yeah.
If I, Jack Chow, receive the mail and want me to fill up the dots,
Yeah, and then mail it back.
mail it back.
Right.
So how can it be duplicated?
Oh, it is so easy to make up fake ballots. I mean, you take pictures of them, you can run off, 5 for everybody's name. Yeah, it's so easy to duplicate a ballot because unlike a dollar bill that's got little things running through it that can show if it's Confederate or not, or fraudulent or not, this doesn't. You can just duplicate a ballot easily. So, the whole thing boils down to the honor and integrity of those that are running the election. And in this case, Jack, I'm just going to say that the radical left, which are not committed to ethics and integrity and purity in our process because they will do anything in the world to win, it would be I'll tell you what happened. It would be an invalid election if they did it by mail.
All right.
And there would be tremendous
Okay, thank you very
problems.
much for that explanation, though. Let's touch another issue in this election blog.
Yes, boss.
Joe Biden has said something about black. What did he say, actually?
Sometimes, I kind of feel sorry for him because he's just making a fool out of himself in many ways.
And he apologized himself, right?
Well, the apology doesn't mean a thing. It's just noise. But he was on a radio program by a guy named something the God, Charlemagne the God, a black radio guy who's got lots of viewers. Okay. And primarily black viewers, I guess. Anyway, so he's interviewing Biden, and the guy's asking some tough questions, okay? Why would you versus Trump and blah, blah, blah. And then Biden, he was trying to talk jive talk, kind of like black talk, okay? And he says, yes, man. I mean, at least he didn't call him boy. If he'd have called him boy, that would have been really bad, okay? Because but then Biden goes, he says, well, if you've got any concerns or any hesitation in voting for me or Trump and not me, then you ain't black. Okay, so
say it again.
Yeah, he said, if you don't vote for me, basically, you ain't black. Now that is exactly what a plantation owner would say. If you don't serve
So
me,
Trump and Biden, they both are white.
No, I know. He's saying that if you're black in America, you have an obligation to vote for a Democrat. Because let me tell you, the whole slavery was in the South, which was all Democrats in the South. Republicans were the North, Democrats were the South. All of the governors that fought integration, they were all Democrat governors, mayors, whatever. And so the Democrat Party owns slavery as an issue that they proposed.
That's very wrong, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's terribly wrong. Yeah, I mean, well, that's why 600,000 people, Jack, died to eliminate slavery from America. 600,000, 20 at minimum. But so he said this, which is like patronizing to the blacks that, well, you've got to vote for me. You can't vote for nothing. And yet President Trump is the only one that's done so much for the black community. All of these opportunity zones and ghettos and that down to a lowest unemployment rate they've ever had. He's done more for blacks than any white or black president.
He, after all, apologized for it.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a
very next
baseless
day.
apology. It's a baseless apology. Because he said, don't forget, like X number of years ago when he was running, he says, oh, they just want to put you back in chains. In chains, like slaves sometimes had chains. He has made some things that are just so stupid. And also, he voted against some of the civil rights bills way back, because he's been there. He goes back 40 years in the Senate. So here's the thing. As this goes on, believe me, this phrase, you ain't black, is demeaning to them, because it means you're too stupid to make up your own mind. The Democratic Party forces you to make up your mind. You vote for us no matter what you think. You can't even think about something else. It was an unbelievable piece of
Sounds like
garbage.
an explanation.
Yeah.
And then with the racial issue, though, there's another subject that we need to talk about.
Yes.
Which is the statistics about the death rate of colored people, of Hispanics.
Well, that's okay. You mean related to the virus?
Yeah. All right, that deserves another show. All right, my dear friends, we're over time, but we'll see you pretty soon. All right. Thank you for watching. And thank you.
Thank you, boss.